Hi, Sanjay. Welcome to this interview for the Power BI developer role. How are you doing today?
Hello, I am doing well. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Great. Let's start with your interview. Can you walk me through your experience and how you started working with Power BI?
Sure, I have a total of 5 years of experience in data analytics and business intelligence. Initially, I worked with Excel and SQL for reporting, but around 2 years ago, I started using Power BI to build interactive dashboards. Since then, I have worked on multiple projects across different industries like retail and finance, creating dashboards that help businesses make data driven decisions.
Okay. Can you describe one of the most complex dashboards you've built? What was the goal and what was the approach?
One of the most complex dashboards I built was for a retail client. They wanted to track sales performance across different regions and product categories in real time. I used SQL to extract data from their database, transformed it using Power Query, and designed a dashboard with key metrics like total sales, profit margins, and inventory levels. I also implemented dynamic filtering using slicers so users could drill down into specific regions and time periods.
All right. Regarding the data sources you mentioned, what sources have you worked with in Power BI and how do you typically transform the data?
I have worked with various data sources like SQL Server, Excel, SharePoint, and APIs. My usual approach is to connect to the source, clean, and shape the data using Power Query and then load it into Power BI. I use functions like merging and appending queries, removing duplicates, and handling missing values to ensure clean data before building reports.
Okay, let's talk about visuals. What are some of the common Power BI visuals you use and how do you decide which one to use?
I frequently use bar charts, line charts, tables, and KPIs. For comparisons, I use bar charts. For trends over time, I use line charts. Tables and matrix visuals are useful for detailed data views. I always choose visuals based on the business question. Clarity and simplicity are key.
That's a good approach. What about DAX? Can you explain the difference between a measure and a calculated column?
A calculated column is created at the row level and stored in the data model, whereas a measure is calculated dynamically based on user interaction. For example, if I need a profit margin column for each row, I'd use a calculated column. But for aggregations like total sales or average profit, I would use a measure. Measures are more efficient since they don't consume extra storage.
That's a good explanation. How do you use filters and slices in your reports?
Filters help refine data at different levels visual, page, or report level. And slicers allow users to interact with the data dynamically. For example, I use date slicers so users can filter reports by time periods and category slicers for product based filtering. I also use relative date filters for automated reporting.
Okay. Once a report is ready, how do you publish and share it using Power BI service?
After finalizing the report in Power BI desktop, I publish it to the Power BI service. From there, I assign permissions and create dashboards. If needed, I implement row level security, or commonly known as RLS, to restrict data access based on user roles. I also schedule data refreshes to ensure reports have up to date information.
Okay. When you start a new Power BI project, what's your overall approach?
I follow a structured approach. Firstly, I try to understand business requirements, where I talk to stakeholders and define key metrics to understand what they want to see in the dashboard. From there, I identify data sources. Then, I transform the data using Power Query for cleaning and shaping the data. Then, I working on building the data model, creating relationships and create necessary DAX calculations. Then, I move to designing the report, choosing appropriate graphs. Lastly, I publish and share the dashboard, deploy via Power BI service with necessary security measures.
Got it? Well, thank you, Sanjay. It was great talking about your experience and Power BI developer role. Before we end this interview, do you have any questions for me?
No, ma'am, thank you.
All right, we will end this interview here. Someone from HR will get in touch with you and update you on next step.